Yo, it's your boy, the RC from PainInTheGulo.com.
And your boy Remy Roy causing that ruckus. And
Yo,
this is
talk
yo shit.
nigga.
That was perfect, nigga.
If you can't express, if you gotta hit somebody because you can't explain yourself, that's toxic.
I feel like this whole toxic masculinity is a way to attack
It is.
men.
It is.
And the fact that it's I think the feminist movement, the white feminist movement, uses that because rightfully so, they fucking mad as hell at men, white men. And the way white men has treated white women throughout history, and I feel like black men has picked up that you know what I mean, work way of thinking because we're enslaved by the white man.
Yup.
It's like I'm not mad. I can't say I can't. I'm not mad because I don't want to be wrongfully accused or attacked or called toxic masculinity, which I feel is not of a real thing. It's just toxic is toxic. You don't gotta put a gender on it. It's not masculine, it's not feminine. Toxic is toxic. Now you wanna say, I guess you wanna say masculine because the nigga's masculine with his toxicity, but it's like a masculine, like a lesbian woman can be a toxic masculine, you know what I mean? Toxic masculinity, but it's not about masculine is you know what I mean? Is a choice of how you choose to interact with the world around you. Masculine, feminine principles. Those are principles, there we go. But it has nothing to do with toxicness, you know what I mean? And they try to put these two together to make it be like, oh, only men can be toxic. And it's like, boo-boo. Half of this toxicity applies or can come from the whole feminine side of the balance scale that we're not ready to, or most people don't like to talk about. But it's like toxic masculinity, I'm gonna grant it. There's a lot of masculine men doing toxic shit, but it doesn't equal toxic masculinity. Them niggas is just toxic.
It's the last.
Because what happens is there's certain shit like masculinity is can be assertive. But there's a way to be assertive, and there's a way to be, domineering.
Sure.
Domineering is toxic. It has nothing to do with, because you could be a feminine woman and be domineering. So it has nothing to do with feminine principles or masculine principles. It has to do with if you're being toxic or not. And it's like so easily or so quick. You know what I mean? If there's toxic masculinity, then there's this. We live in a world of up and down, so there got to be the opposite. So if we're gonna stay and stick with this toxic masculinity word, then we got to start bringing up toxic femininity, which I feel a lot of the feminist movement, because of their past stripes with the history between men and women and sexism. Not saying it's okay or not okay, or the feminist movement is bad. I get why y'all mad, and I get why y'all got some power. Oh, you gonna feel this rap? I ain't mad at you. My ego do the same shit when I step into power until I'm able to. But it's just like, if we don't say there's toxic masculinity, there's definitely toxic femininity. I can't even say the word.
Yeah,
Femininity, whatever, you know the word. And it's just like, why isn't that expressed as much? Because even regardless of toxic masculinity, I feel like if we're gonna be held accountable on our shit, women have to be held accountable on their shit, so we can heal from all of this shit. Because granted, toxic masculinity, let's say it's a real thing, right? Well, is it what's the root of it? You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, every child is raised by a man and woman, hopefully, or ideally. And it's like, we all learn these shit from somewhere, you know what I mean, man or woman. So it's just like, we understand there's a lot of men, and because men have the quote-unquote advantage because of the sexist world we live in, it's like they're more able to exercise their toxic, or get away more so with their toxicity. But then again, it's like, do they? Because some people will feel like women will get away with their toxicity a lot more. So it's just like, it's a very tricky thing.
They got a video, I think it was in India or somewhere over there, where there was a date show, some shit. He was like, hell no. Something like, I want to date her. She woke up there and slapped the dog shit out of her. Initial reaction was to slap the dog shit out of her back. Slapped her. The whole show damn near jumped on homie and jumped in it. But he's human to human. If you keep fucking with a dog, a squirrel, they're gonna bite you. It's male or female. It's just a certain level. Like, bro, you don't put your hands on me. I'm not gonna put. That's me personally. Because just seeing, but then it's like, okay, you see, and they was also saying too, a lot of niggas get killed playing the hero.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
when niggas jump in, niggas see that girl getting beat up. Niggas said he saw there was a story, jumped in, knocked the man out, the boyfriend out, saved her, whatever. Nigga got up, woke up, bop bop, killed the nigga, and she left with the nigga who killed him. So you lost your, and it's like, he was like, yo fellas, I know it's hard to do, but you gotta mind your business.
And it's really sad, but it's like, until we could get everybody on the same page, you know what I mean? Like, it sucks. And then on top of that too, it's just like, I guess this is the best way to say it. If a woman don't come to you herself, saying she's trying to get out, and even there it could be tricky. And then it's like, it goes against my initial nature, which is to protect the women and children.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it's just like,
I can't see, like you heard the shit in PA? The whole train car watched the lady get raped. Bro, what is wrong with people, bro? Like, they legit minded they been. Some said the footage showed that some niggas had their camera out. Niggas would rather film, bro. Why you watch a woman getting sexually assaulted in a train cart? Bro, we at a point, like, you know, they say life.
I feel like, if anything, that would be more toxic masculinity than anything. But the thing about it is, like, to allow some shit like that to happen. But the fact of the matter is, it's like, this goes back. I don't think people are ready to go to the root of this shit, which is like, black men on these United States, Western Hemisphere really, has never been allowed, has been crucified every time he defended, protected his and his own. And it started since the triangle trade. You know what I mean? Now, I don't know what we did in Africa, and it seems like we ain't operate like that. It seemed like we was on some Spartan shit in Africa. They got that shit from us, where the women is just as
Tough.
they word, and they, you know what I mean? Their function in society is just as high or higher than a man. You know what I mean? All these African artifacts got women on the freaking in the hieroglyphics. You know what I mean? And calling them the god deity. Not so much the niggas. You know what I mean? The niggas may be the head of the whole shit, but the women are usually the spiritual guidance and all of that. The one who give the man his counsel and all of that. So it's just like. But I heard some shit, and this shit it was hard to digest, but it was also true, and it was hard for me to digest, and it wasn't even something for me to digest. It was more so something I feel like it was catered towards women. But a shorty said, if a woman wants a man's protection, she has to be willing to follow his, be ready to follow him. You know what I mean? So if a nigga says, don't go here after dark, it's not because he's trying to control you. It's when you're there after dark, he can't protect you there. And you have to trust that. Look, if this man tells me not to go to this club with these girls, this group of friends, there's a reason why he's telling me that. He's not trying to. Granted, there is a lot of niggas who just don't want their girls going out at all for no reason. For whatever reason, they want them to be their own personal slave at home. But it's just like, there's other dudes, like, I remember one time I got to a whole big shit. I'm drunk, leaving a Halloween party, and the girl we was walking home wants to walk through the the side blocks. And I'm like, nah, nigga, we walking in the main block where all the street lights work. And it was like, oh no, we're gonna just go through. I'm like, y'all could go through the side things, but I'm not, because I'm already nice. So I'm not on all my P's and Q's. And you're not gonna have me going through dark alleys and shit. Nah, because it's a shortcut. Nah, it's okay. That's what they intend on us to do. And it was like, we're going this way. I'm like, if that's the case, I'm going home, because I can't do this shit. I'm not in a position to be able to protect you guys. And if y'all not gonna follow my lead, I'm not gonna tell you, well, no, I'm not gonna grab you and drag you in the street. Exactly. I'm just gonna let you go your way and I'm gonna go my way. And that's what the fuck I did. And it's just like, it's really, but it's like, now it puts it on women to be able to find the right nigga to right, and then to trust him also.
To be able to do that with you, right, bro? And that's where.
And a woman said that, it wasn't no nigga. I'm just.
But that's where we have a stance. Nobody wants to admit, alright, we did this, you did. Let's come together and this work. This everybody is hot girl summer, hot boy summer.
If there's anything masculinity is unhealed masculinity. I won't claim toxic masculinity. I will say the masculine principle, because usually men play the masculine principle. A lot of men are unhealed masculine. You know what I mean? So they're very damaged masculine, which come off or can come off in toxic ways. But it's because certain parts or aspects of their masculinity hasn't been healed or completely or stunt. The growth was stunt or whatever.
The cliche one, which is mad true though, is why you crying for? Why you crying? Then as you get older, why you not crying? Why you don't show no emotion? Because I was born by my own mother. Father, what you crying for?
Right. And even a woman knows that's a really good way to hurt a nigga, and a nigga hurts your feelings. And like we gonna hurt women's feelings because we gonna make mistakes and we gonna fuck up. And it's like a woman, it's your like, you got all the right to a nigga crying in front of you to clown his ass, but also understand you also helping create. You just opened a wound up for him, which will now help him to act in more toxic ways because of his
once they said
unhealed
the game will make
unhealed
you cold.
trauma.
The game gonna make you cold. See, like you said when you said earlier about life, the game is life, right? If you want guarantees in life, you don't really want life. There's no guarantees in this shit. That's what makes it even more. You feel me?
If you want guarantees in life,
you don't want
life.
Because that's not the game.
Because there's no guarantees in life. Let that shit sizzle.
No matter what you do, no matter how much work you put in, no matter how much you invest properly.
If you want guarantees in life, you don't want life. Because there's no guarantees in life. Woo!
People, shit changes, man.
That shit is heavy.
That changes.
You been dropping them, D. You been dropping them, D. You see that? You see that headless horseman? You dropping them now? Shit.
It's really. That's why you gotta roll with. That's why you, as a man, you gotta learn to roll with the punch. That's the shit. And once you learn quickly as a man, you don't have the option. There's no option to cry, to sit in the corner and cry. Bro, if you called me every time and you was crying about something, we not doing this. Like that is not gonna work. We don't have the option to sit here and always talk. Imagine, bro, if I was a nigga always want to talk about the movies, all this shit. After a while, it's like, yo, bro, where's your solution?
Right. But I feel like. All right. So let's shift. I feel like now that we know toxic masculinity ain't real, and it's more so like toxic masculine trauma that us men never healed from, like the whole idea of what it is to be a man versus what a man really is. You can't cry, you gotta be strong. I heard somewhere a dude said, if you tell a man be strong, there's no way we can always be strong. So if he's not strong, he's not a man. And it's just like, shit. Or
born with that part.
Right,
or
and it's
born
like
with the dick that goes with the cat.
So it's like, but I feel like what we do so much with men and women is we entitle certain shit. Because the fact is, as a human, I have masculine and feminine principles.
Everybody.
So the thing about it is that I may be 75% masculine, and how I operate through life is 75 masculine. But like when it comes to my children, kids, and my wife, and when it comes to certain, even in the field of war, you saw Troy.
Yeah.
Remember when his nephew died, and he realized he's like, "Yo, battle's over for today.
Yeah.
We gotta go bury our people, and we'll resume battle in a couple of days." And then even the king came through and was like, "Yeah, we're gonna squash it for a week. I gotta bury my son."
That's
and
different.
you know what I mean? How do you have that?
Different.
You need that feminine principle in you, as a man, as the king, as the head honcho. You need that feminine principle.
If in the mastery book, to become a true master, you had to mix both sides.
Exactly.
You had to master
So it has
both
to,
sides.
even I'm saying 75, 25, it has to be 50-50. Always, you know what I mean?
That's
And it's like, we want to, feminine is only what women can be, masculine only, and that's why it gets toxic.
That's where
it gets all thing, because now we're taught, as a man, you can't cry, so if I can't cry, I can't be emotional.
You can't wear pink.
You know what I mean? That also means crying is healing. I can't heal myself because I never went through the shit. I've been told to hold it in and never express it or let it out. So it's just like, and then it goes the same thing for women. It's like women has to be dainty or things so they can't be strong. You trying to tell me when there was a picture of this woman and she has a machete. I think it's in like Africa or Haiti or some Caribbean country. She has a machete. There's cops all over around her kid. She has her kid under her and she has a machete ready to protect it. It's like, you trying to tell me that's not fucking strong? So it's like the principles are not for any, it's not gender based. The principles are principles that we all need to adapt and acquire, you know what I mean? So it's like even women need some masculine principles need to master some masculine principles to be the best woman they could be.
Exactly.
Men need to master feminine principles to be the best man they could be. And whether it be in a masculine way or a feminine way, it's just like what we're so caught up in, you know what I mean? Not understanding masculine and feminine is just like yin and yang. You need a balance of both. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then any two one side, toxic. So it's fuck the label.
It's a
Either
balance.
two sides is
Right.
toxic. Too much of anything is toxic.
Exactly. So it's more so there's no we haven't learned the balance. Even remember how we were saying like we're taught if like when you was running, nigga was looking at you. If you back down, you pussy. You know what I mean? And how you will feel like that, even if, you know what I mean? Like you will feel like, oh, so now I'm pussy now because I let him rock, or, you know what I mean? And it's just like, no, you're not pussy. Actually, that makes you more, even a bigger man than, but it's like, we're taught that
That's the shit.
when,
It's the talk
you know what I mean? And it's just like, who taught us that? And nobody wants to talk about where we learned this shit from.
bro.
We just want to bash the motherfuckers who are living by this principle. It's not asking where these people pick up these principles from. And it's not to blame no woman or man, because we both do it. Because his mom may have told him he can't cry, but he also seen his dad not cry when he did want to cry. He saw his dad's eye water up, and he was really about to express some emotion, and then he stopped it and turned it off and sucked it all back in, and then it was just like, oh, okay, that's what I'm supposed to do. So it's not always just the woman around, and no, it's everybody. We all, the community, the social conditioning. You know what I mean? It's like when my son, like even at this point, my son's crying is annoying, but I don't get on him for crying. I'm also be like, yo, why are you crying? You know, like, all right, so if you don't like that, well, you should probably start working on doing this, so you don't have it to you, so you don't have to cry. But it's not like, oh, stop crying. What the hell are you crying for? It's like, I get why you're crying. It ain't a big deal to me, but it's a really big deal to you.
Look at the balance, bro. Just in case.
I mean, there's a lot of them. But there was just a recent case. The nigga got mad because the little kid kept trying to take the controller son from him and he killed the little kid. Bro. 3 years old, bro. But the son lower than 6, bro.
Yeah.
And it's like, bro, this. So every time, that's when they say don't bash yourself. Yeah. The ego's a child. Because then you gotta think about it. My religion teacher told me this. He's like, there's balance. He's like, don't always be like, because I'm not living on the street. But in a way, that's a real kick in the ass. But there's a lot of people who will live the life like structured. Oh, I'm not smoking a lot of dope, but I can smoke a lot of weed. You know, make excuses for themselves.
Right.
Off the strength for somebody else's misery.
Right.
But what I'm learning is, bro, those are people who exist. Like I'm proud of myself because I messed up or I look too emotional, something to my ego. Right. There's niggas who be with their own motherfucker type shit. There's men. There's videos of niggas knocking their own woman job. How can that even come to fruition, bro? And this, bro. So you gotta appreciate, and that's why the world, life, is guaranteed, bro.
Right. that's some toxic shit. But I feel like I might get some shit for this. But it's just like for a man,
I might get some shit.
For a man to feel like it's okay to put his hands on his moms. You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck taught him that shit? Because he wasn't born like that. At one point, he was sucking on the titties. So where in his life did that shift happen? You know what I mean? Because you telling me this, I want to take this nigga head off. Like, nigga, first of all, you don't put your hands on women, but your own fucking the portal you came through, nigga. How, Sway? And don't get me wrong, I have a mother who's fucking annoying. But it's like, to put my hands on her? I can't think of something my mom could say to me for me to think, okay, that I now have the rights to put my hands on you because you crossed the line. There's no line she could cross. And this is what people need to understand, because I'm saying my mom, there should be no line any person could cross that makes you feel comfortable to now put your hands on them. That's toxic in itself. Now, granted, people aren't allowed to say whatever the fuck they want to say to people, and that's fucked up. But it's like, for somebody outside of, and the thing about it is like, that's the shit that we're not ready to think. You're accountable for your actions. So yeah, somebody could say some wild shit out their face to you while you're around them. And if this person, if you know somebody else if somebody says some wild shit to you, you have that toxic trait where you might put your hands on them. I'm not gonna allow myself around these people. If I see somebody's like this and
choice.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, but we don't hold that shit.
That right so is who wants to do that? You know how much time that's gonna take? But that's what's needed. You just said it. Where is it taught from? Right. You have to, bro. Who the fuck taught it? My nigga, that you have to literally stop the world. And because that shit is 80% of the population, not just here. Right. In the everywhere. Where is it? You gotta eradicate the root, nigga. You're not gonna keep growing the same tree. The root is poison, bro. You're gonna have to eradicate this shit, bro. And to do that, you have to knock down systems. Everything we grew up, everything that is not gonna be no more. You have to change every fucking thing. And right now, as a nigga sitting on a half a mil, all that, who really wanna do that? And who really wants to do that? I just made it out the law. I got this brand now. But you tell me for the next 10 years of this, you're gonna have to actually stop everything. And that don't take a whole.
But the thing about it is like, we don't gotta stop the world.
Why?
Cause it's not the world's job to do it. It's the fucking people who are going through the shit. Cause it's like the world go round.
What you talking about?
Right, people do facts. No, we don't make the world go round. That bitch been spinning before we been here on this motherfucker. We don't make the world go round. That's
Speaking of the game,
ego.
I'm talking about
That's
the game.
ego.
The game. You right. In
Ego.
life, you right. That dude is
we do not make the world go
But the
round.
game,
That
though.
bitch gonna spin whether or not
My
we
nigga,
on this
the
bitch
game
or
we
not.
in.
Now we could knock this bitch off the spinning axis.
Game we
But
in.
that don't mean that shit ain't gonna spin after, like, when I die, this shit gonna stop spinning.
Bro, but if half the population.
Who on this
You're right.
earth?
My nigga.
Who on this earth?
Bro.
If died,
You're
the
right,
whole
you're
world
right.
would literally
You're right. I'm talking
the world,
Okay.
not us.
The people game. I'm talking about the people
We
game.
we on this bitch,
Bro, to stop the world, I'm at the game. Like this. Listen, if you had
This nigga here.
Nigga, everything about me, nigga, if in order to get to get to the root of man's problem.
You know what I just realized?
Right.
If all the people on Earth die, you see how we give the trees carbon dioxide, right? And they exchange, right?
Yeah.
They don't need us to do that shit.
That's a fact.
we really don't, like, yeah, we help the environment, but they don't need us. We need that mother. Like, if he not around, we can't breathe. But if we not around, that nigga could still breathe and grow and make fruits for no one of us. And the fruit gonna just drop and then he just gonna recycle. It's like,
My nigga, if everybody in the world was mandatory to see a therapist, and they said,
everybody in the world, it has a therapist. It's called your higher self, nigga.
Now,
it's called spirituality,
now,
nigga.
what I'm saying is, if everybody collectively did it at the same time,
That's what it is.
there's no way in hell, nothing, everybody, the world, the game of the world, the people.
You know what I heard? You know what I heard? It's called the I forgot what the principle is called, but it's like if a certain amount of people do it, it's gonna the rest of it. Because the thing about it is, like, at the end of the day, majority of people of the world is followers.
Yeah.
So if enough people, like, it's a percentage, like if 29% of people start doing this shit, the world is gonna shift into that, because it's like,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's like, it only takes a large amount, a big community of us to actually start to do what you just said, like the actual reflection. You don't need to go to a therapist. You can do it with your homie. We doing this shit right now, nigga. It's not something that is like a license. Now, granted, if you got some real shit and you trying to heal because it's like this shit is fucking up your life, now go to a licensed therapist. I do recommend that shit. Like, if it's, you know what I mean, your daughter doesn't want to talk to you no more, every relationship, yes, go to a fucking therapist right now, though. So, you know what I mean? But it's like, if kids at 12 are having these conversations that we're talking about, not about bitches and getting pussy, but talking about, yo, like, why do I still get mad when I lose a game? So, why do I get so crazy mad when I lose a game?
Yeah.
I need to get control over that anger, you know what I mean? And get more even killed. And it's like, how did that shit help Kobe and Jordan when they stayed even killed in life, when shit was wilding out and shit was looking like they're going crazy or shit is super high, and it's like, to keep this shit super high, let me keep my shit together so I can maintain this high. But it's just like, so many times there's things that teach us this skill, but we don't focus in or zone in on it or see how we can apply it to different aspects of our life. Like, every coach says football is a game of life. Right, so why is there still football players going through domestic violence struggle? You know what I mean? We should all be helping, like, even like every football team should be having these talks, because those are the men you around. You know what I mean? Every group, like the group of niggas you chill with. 50-50 conversations. What we talking about basketball, we talking about this, we talking about bitches, we talking about that. Other half should be, yo, bro, like, are you happy, nigga? Like, what you trying to do? What's, you know what I mean? What's stopping you from being your best self?
Yeah,
how can I help you?
The coverage, you gotta cover it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's just like, if there's a thing, how men it's feminine for men to talk about their feelings, even as men. Like, remember the the other podcast? I said if a nigga apologized to another man the way he apologized to women, it would probably make her feel uncomfortable. Most niggas be like, my fault, alright, bro, it's all good. Alright. We don't need to talk about the details of why you sorry, what it is that you did specifically that hurt my feelings, and niggas be getting like, I know I did what I did was wrong, and you right for saying what you're saying, and how you expressing your feelings to me is very, you're not like gaslighting me and making me feel guilty about how you just literally express. But I'm uncomfortable because I've never done this and received it from a man. You know what I mean? So it's just uncomfortable. It's new, and it's not even like a uncomfortable where it's like, yo, this nigga's making me want to hit. It's like literally something new, and it's like, if this shit was normal, how many of our quote unquote toxic masculinity traits would be fucking eradicated, like you said? But that's not normal. It's not normal that when a nigga talk out his mouth to let that nigga slide, he must be going through some shit. It's like, oh no, I gotta check that nigga, because if he think he could talk like that about me, I gotta, you know what I mean, put my foot in his ass so he know better. And it's just like,
yeah. See, in the world where you have the choice to do that or not, the best choice is always not to.
but the thing is, like, we do live in a world where we have the choice.
No. In jail, that's not a choice. You gotta give shit
But
up.
the world is in jail.
But that's what I just said. A certain world. There's the jail zone world. You know, that's
Right, but it's like, you could say that, and then you could say the same shit about the hood. But the thing about it is, like, the hood is our community. Like, why would we feel this way about, like, even this whole Crips and Blood shit, nigga? Like, don't sell on my turf, you sell on my turf. Like, you sell on my turf, I could check you, but why is it check you a shootout rather than my OG come to your OG? I'ma let my OG know, be on call a meeting and some shit. There's gonna be some words spoken. Now, the words can't be, the words are spoken and it goes thing, even though, you know what I mean? But that's not even the I don't know. I feel like that might have been the old school thing. So I don't want no Crips and Bloods coming at me like, nah, that is the principle, my nigga. You know, the movie shit is a whole lie and all that. So it's like, I don't even know, because I'm not even deep in gang culture to know the you know what I mean, the rules and regulations and the protocols or whatever the case may be. But it's just like, men are made everywhere. You know what I mean? Healthy, you know what I mean? Healthy, you know what I mean? They're made everywhere. So it's like, it's not a scarcity of them. It's just enough of us is not linking up and communicating. And rightfully so, because it's like, I'm not gonna go to any group of niggas and just start talking about this shit, because every group of niggas is not ready for this shit. You know what I mean? But it's just like, and then they may not be comfortable to talk to me about that shit. You might have to go to your group of niggas to talk, because y'all been in the streets rolling since 12 or since 7, and it's like, we both seen our best friend die, so we can go there and we could talk about how that shit made us feel when we saw our friend die in front of our eyes, and how we thought we were next, and how that made us want to just kill quicker, like. So it's just like, but we never talk about it. We just drink Henny together and then just pour some for the homie and then follow that shit.
The hardest part is the talk, like you said. That's the hardest part.
And I feel like that's the we go through trauma, and as men,
that's why.
Not even masculine. As men, we're taught not to talk about it or to hold that shit, bottle that shit inside. So now, when that's taught to men to hold your emotions inside and don't come off like a bitch or whatever the case may be. Now you're saying the how that manifests is toxic masculinity, and it has nothing to do with masculinity. It has everything to do with toxic, but it has nothing to do with masculinity. Because it's like, that's not true masculinity. Because true masculinity would assertively express how it feels, and so it be known, and if this continues to happen, how he would remove himself
So,
or a thing.
so when a man, so when somebody's in true masculine, when you in your true masculinity or your true feminine, whatever,
Yeah.
they can't, toxic don't exist. If you in the true form of it,
Right.
there's no such thing as toxic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you're in its true principle,
Yeah.
if you're
Mhm.
applying the true principles, there's no toxicity in it. The
Understood.
toxicity comes from
The lack of.
the trauma
Mm-hmm.
that we bring, our baggage that we come in with. You know what I mean? The shit that happens to us in life
That's interesting.
that we think, and then on
Yeah.
top of that, it's like, and on top of that, on this world, because of we're not so used to yin and yangs and principles being counteractive, and then you bringing them together, it's masculine equals man, feminine equals woman, and
Yeah.
that's it. And it's like, that's
The
toxic.
labels, yeah, that's toxic.
That's
Fucking
toxic
labels.
because man is masculine and feminine. Woman is also masculine and feminine. Now, a woman's masculine and feminine is way different than a man's masculine and feminine,
Yeah.
but they both still need to
It's
be
still
both.
under
You
the
know what I mean?
umbrella.
It still needs to be
Yeah.
a balance of both within
Sheesh.
that, within each
Sheesh. Yeah.
individual. But we make masculine and feminine a gender thing, and it has nothing to do with genders. It has everything to do with balancing. You know what I mean? Because there's reasons to be loud, and there's reasons to be quiet.
Yeah.
But if you're loud in the wrong times,
That's what they say. You gotta learn how to be a lion or be a fox.
right? So
That's
it's
you
just
gotta
like,
learn at the moment which one applies for it. That's the game. You know that's crazy. This shit gave us a good 20 minutes without any training, which is weird. That was with the schedule on Friday.
right,
That shit dead, bro. It was no trains for the first good 20 minutes, bro. That shit was quiet out here.
right. It was.
That's different. Niggas just learned the schedule. I've been here my whole life. Dogs.
Nah, that's it.
And shit, I think you just brought it all home with that shit. I like when that happens, like in a movie or a comedy special. They just bring it all back to that one part. Like, ooh, that's frightening. That's fantastic.
Yeah, I asked my homegirl to start looking for some amateur shits around so I could put some fire under my ass, cause I gotta get out and start doing this shit. Just stand up. No excuses.
Yo, that's why I think, bro, I ain't gonna hold you, man. When you find the writing shit, when I was writing, it's like, yo, this feels
Yeah, that shit is
good
mad fun.
because you could do this anywhere.
Right.
I don't gotta be nowhere. I could be dead by myself and crank out a script. Bow. I don't know. So when niggas gotta do series, I heard like a series is it's a table with niggas.
Right.
So, and then that's also
Right, but what it could come down to is like you write the script,
yeah.
give it to the table,
Mhm.
they'll go to break it down, whatever, and then y'all have a whole next meeting where you there and be like, well, how y'all finesse my shit?
Mm-hmm. And that's
Okay,
how
I like that.
That's
Okay,
how
I don't like that. The reason why I don't like that, I like that, but we can't do that because further, the idea having them later down the line was for this to happen.
And they
So
always
you might be able to give that to a different set of relationship, but that was a good idea, but not for those two people.
The best example I saw that really made me understand the game was when you go to a supermarket, they got over 8 different brands of bread. They got probably over 15 of Walmart shit. You think niggas gonna stop making that bread because there's 14 other brands, bro? People eat. There's a person that's gonna eat this bread, bro. There's a person, like when they Friday 13th, bro. There's a cult following. There's enough people in this world, bro. It's gonna
fuck with your shit.
bro.
And you have to have the balls.
The balls.
The cojones.
Like the dragon. They gotta
You gotta have the
walk like that.
the walk
You
it.
dig?
That's what
Right.
it is, bro. Like it's
Big
some shit right there. Like
They tell you if you want to be writing movies, look at the reviews before you want to think of bro. The reviews on movies be fucking brutal, my nigga. Like, yo, why they talking about
yo,
this shit too?
cause you know why? Cause they didn't have the cojones to go out and you know what most critics are? Movie writers. Bum ass niggas that's too scared to put their shit out cause they know the way they been cutting nigga shit up. Yeah, nigga, you a sucker. It's that shit. It's that whole. I think when presidents say, He was like, I'm paraphrasing because I don't know how the motherfucker say it. He like, you want to be a nigga that's in the field. Be in the field, you get your ass whooped in the field. Be in the fucking field. But don't ever let a motherfucking spectator nigga in the audience make you feel like you ain't shit. Because you on the field getting your ass fucking. You could be being run through the mud. But this nigga in the field, he too scared to come on the field. So fuck what that nigga say. A president said that. He didn't say it like that. Again, I'm paraphrasing. But he basically said that in a nutshell. And it's just like, yo, to have the balls to get on the field alone.
Just to close it just like that. The Daphne joint from the Chappelle. Then she bombed for 45 minutes and pulled up the chair and sat in front. You just bombed and you can't, bro. I wouldn't even. I would have, bro. Personally, at that time, who knows what a nigga was. She and then sat there, had the balls, whatever, and made the joke that made everybody. You see what? So that's what that means, bro. And that's what it is right there. The ball.
To follow.
The follow through. That's exactly what it is, bro. That's exactly what it is, bro. That's it.
Yo, like,
that's it. That's beautiful.
Toxic masculinity. We gotta balance ourselves out.
That's it.
That shit ain't real. But if we gonna call it that a thing, it's just. You can't be masculine and feminine at the same damn time. You know what I mean? It's a possibility. That's the goal. To balance it. Once you balance that, should be good money, my friend.
Good money.
With all that being said,
yo, bro, this shit, bro. Yo,
another episode of Tokyo. Shh. Not too loud now. Yeah.
Talk Your Shh is brought to you by PainInTheCulo.com and your boy Remy Roy causing that ruckus, where real ones come to talk about real nigger shit. You dig?